Welcome to CivilNet. We have a very special guest here on our rooftop at CivilNet. He's Daniel Decker. He is a composer, a songwriter, singer, a recording artist, and who has a very close affinity with the Armenian people, and we'll find out why. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
I think most Armenians know who you are, especially for your composition or your collaboration with Ara Gevorgyan,
Yes.
an Armenian composer. You put together a piece for the 90th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide in 2005.
Yes.
And I think that every Armenian who walked up the hill that day on April 24th, Titizian remembers that song. How did that collaboration come about?
Well, some years before, I just happened to hear a melody from Ara Gevorgyan called Mush. And I'd never heard anything like it. And at that moment, I thought it was probably one of the most beautiful melodies I'd ever heard. And I remember as soon as I heard it thinking, I would love to write words to this melody and find some way to sing it. So I managed to track him down in Armenia and contacted him and proposed my idea of writing lyrics to the song. And of course, he didn't know me, so he was probably a little bit hesitant. But he said, you know, gave me his permission to try. And I started the course of writing some of the lyrics. And I remember calling him one day from my home in New York to Armenia, and I sang for him some of the words that I
wrote. On the telephone.
Yeah. And the connection wasn't that great. This was 2001.
Right.
And so I sang what ended up being verse 2. After I sang it, there was silence for maybe 30 seconds, and I thought, oh, he hates it, he hates it. And then I heard, Danjan. And he said, you must come to Armenia and sing this song at my concert, which turned out to be at Stade d'Arapat for Independence Day in 2002, I believe.
Right.
While I was sitting in the concert after I sang my song, I heard this melody called Adana. After I had written the lyrics to Mush, which I called Noah's Prayer because it tells the story of Noah and the Ark and Ararat, I was studying Armenian history because I wanted it to be historically accurate. That was when I was introduced to the history of Armenia and the Armenian Genocide. And when I learned about it, I thought, if I write another song about Armenia, that's going to be the topic that I deal with. So fast forward to this concert, and I'm listening to all of these wonderful melodies that he wrote, and I heard Adana. And as soon as I heard it, da 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 da, I thought, that's it. That is the one. And so the next day, I was in Ara's studio, and I said, Arajan, I have an idea. We must do another song together. Before I could even tell him what the idea was, this is what he said, Danjan, yes, we must do another song. And then he said this, please choose Adana. And then he said, please write about the genocide. We independently had the same idea without talking about it, and boom. And we started working on it. And I wrote that song really as an expression of my grief, my personal grief of reading the account of the genocide. And I finished it, and I thought, I don't even know if the Armenian people will accept it because it's not written in the typical way about a genocide song. It expresses sorrow, but it also offers hope and healing to Armenians. Not only did they accept it, they embraced it. And the song ended up being translated into, I think, 20 languages, going around the world. I never, in my wildest dreams, would have imagined that that would have happened.
From hearing a single melody to making a phone call across the world, and to some serendipitous meetings. It's quite incredible. Just, you know, very quickly, did you even know about the Armenian Genocide? Did you even know about the Armenians in general living in New York? You know, you're originally Puerto Rican.
Right. I mean,
from a different world.
I knew generally where Armenia was, and the most I knew about Armenia before all this was I knew that there was a war in Karabakh, which, you know, they talked about it in the news and such, but I didn't know Armenian history or culture. I'd never heard Armenian music before, but that song just altered my whole life.
And another quite amazing, outstanding development, perhaps we can coin it this way, is that today you received citizenship of the Republic of Armenia.
Yes.
Do you have it with you?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
I thought I was going to. Okay, so tell me, Daniel Decker, Puerto Rican American who grew up in New York City, or upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Why?
Well, first, when I was introduced to Armenia, I loved the music. Then I came to Armenia and I got to know the people. Then I learned the culture. And I learned about Armenian Christianity and Armenian life. And it started from interest to respect to admiration to love. And everything that I've done with Armenia or for Armenia was a way to encourage Armenians. Because I have sensed and I've felt Armenians' pain about the genocide, the divisions in the Armenian community as a result of the genocide, the struggle of Armenians to move forward. And I always felt this urge, this call to encourage and uplift Armenians, so that maybe if I sing a song about Armenia, maybe the Armenian backs will be a little bit straighter, they'll stand a little bit taller, feel a little bit more proud. And this is my way of saying, I'm with you. I love Armenia, I stand with you. I'm not Armenian by birth, but I'm Armenian by choice.
And that's really special. You also have something coming up that's, I think, going to be another important milestone for the 100th anniversary for you, for Ara, for Armenian music and culture.
Yes. There's a new song which is called Remember, and it's written to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the genocide. And Ara, of course, wrote the music, and he gathered together choirs from around the world to sing this song together, starting with an Armenian version of the song. And he sent me the translation, kind of a literal translation, and I said, I want to write a new text, a new story about this genocide. The first struggle I had, though, was I've already written about the genocide. How do I do it again and not tell the same story in the same way? So whereas the first one is really a message of healing and an expression of grief, this one I felt needed to be more of a bold declaration to the rest of the world that the time for debate and discussion and disagreement is over. Now is the time to recognize, not tomorrow, 10 years, 100 years from now, today. We must stand with one voice and say, this is not opinion, this is fact. It took place. We must remember and recognize now.
Well, Daniel, I'm really happy that Armenia chose you and that you chose Armenia, because
Me
you
too.
seem to intrinsically, intuitively understand where the Armenian psyche is today on the threshold of the 100th anniversary. So thank you and good luck.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And perhaps you'd like to sing a passage from the new song, or is that...
How about I sing you a little bit of something in Armenian language?
That would be amazing.
I didn't mention that I've also recorded a CD in the Armenian language. That
In
was
the
another
Armenian
step.
language?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Armenian by Choice, and I chose beloved Armenian songs, and that was one of the steps in my journey. Deleyaman, Maratiki Erka, Gilikia, Seres Van Kuntatevi, Sirogishir, Chekna Yeraz.
Okay, please
and
sing
several
one of
others.
them.
Okay.
One of them, any.
All right. Let's see. Deleyaman, Arev Dipav, Masis Yasarin, Vaideleyaman, Garog Manatsi, Yesim Yarin, Yaman, Yaman.